We're coming up on the worst season of the year. So Halloween is the devil's holy day.
But just know that nothing is by mistake. Nothing. I will never forget the time I was in Israel with my husband. That was the second time, but the first time with my mother on a pilgrimage.
Hey, Segovia, back with another one. Hope everyone out there is having a good Halloween. We got some creepy TikToks that might make you think twice before you go knock on that door and say trick or treat. Let's get into it. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show.
Now, when it comes to the SNAP benefits closing, the vast majority of people on the planet don't even realize it's actually a divine eviction notice from dependency, because food stamps was supposed to be used for a transitional energy. It's not supposed to be used as a generational identity. Now, in 1939, the Roosevelt administration is what created the SNAP benefits program through the Democratic Party of what I call the deep state shadow government. So the SNAP benefits program being eradicated is actually a good thing, because it was being used as a mechanism to destabilize the unity amongst people. So when the system falls and takes away the crutch, your ass shouldn't be afraid to walk again, because this energy is going to beget more unity. This is where gardens start to grow again. This is where you start to connect with certain people for resources. So this is basically the epitome of the rise of the matriarch. This is the beginning points of it. If you want to be real, the reason why the great majority of people are upset about not getting food stamps is because of Thanksgiving. Fuck Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving was never our holiday. It's basically the colonizer's trophy dinner. So why would you want to celebrate the slaughter and the disconnection of tribes while pretending to be about family at the same time? That don't make sense to me.
So answer me this. Why didn't Charlie's security detail turn around and look for the shooter? Not one of them turned around and said, "Where's that coming from? Where's that coming from?" Not one of them. Why is that? Leave it in the comments.
Having some technical difficulties today, y'all. Just get through the video. Apologize.
Are there Russian assets in the U.S. government?
Yes. Is that actually a hard question? Do people think there might not be?
In the government?
Yeah, I would hope that not.
Yeah.
Fuck that, guys. So here's the rule of thumb from CIA. Every government agency is penetrated by 5 foreign spies.
Wow.
Assume that every single one of them has been penetrated by at least 5. And then hunt for those 5, and you may find the 10 or 15 others that you never thought.
Well, the whole grand.
This is good, right?
What? Why are they white?
What do you mean?
I've never seen a white egg.
You've never seen a white egg?
Is that like a different chicken?
No,
usually eggs are brown.
Really? No, I mean
I've never seen a white ever.
You've never seen a white egg?
I've never seen a white egg.
Something
I mean, again, why do they do this to us in America? They should be giving us the best of the best. Why do they give us the worst of the worst? I don't get it. I mean, is that just how greedy they are? That's crazy.
was recently discovered in the Grand Canyon, and there's not a whole lot of people talking about this. Before I get into that, around the same time as this discovery, there was also wildfires and floodings that caused parts of the Grand Canyon to get shut off from tourism. People are now skeptical of this series of events, wondering if this was just nature's natural incidents, or if this could have been something more intentional in order to prevent more things from being discovered in the Grand Canyon. Now, you may be thinking that's crazy, but in 1908, a traveler named G.E. Kincaid wanted to explore the Grand Canyon before it was officially declared a national park. While exploring, he ran across a man-made opening into a cave system, but when he went into this cave system, he realized that this wasn't any ordinary cave, but an entire ancient city deep in the Grand Canyon. He estimated that around 50,000 people could have lived there at one point, but the city itself wasn't even the strangest part. The strangest part is that he found ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs on the walls, which is really strange when you consider the location. Fast forwarding to more recent times, we're being told that a bizarre ancient creature was unearthed. Maybe there's more to discover in the Grand Canyon after all.
This was Sirius, a planet on Sirius. It's like a water well with a big landmass in the middle. Transported on the underground tube system through a Stargate from London. There's a facility on the ocean bed which is a perfect replica of a pentagon. It's a pentagon within a pentagon within a pentagon. Each section of the facility houses a different alien race. And it's actually an artificial intelligence facility. And AI is doing experiments to see which of the races in the universe. I think there's 7 root races, doing experiments to see which one is has the highest survival dynamics.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there.
You know why something evil has to ask permission to come into your house? It sort of goes back to this old belief that nothing evil, nothing negative can enter into your life, can enter into your home unless you give it permission. See, we naturally have this protective barrier surrounding us. Some people call it guardian angels. Some people call it, a protective spirit. But we are naturally protected from these sort of things. But these evil, these negative entities try and break us down and get us to open that space, to allow them to come in. And so our homes, where we live, where we love, where we share intimate moments, right? That becomes a protective space. And this evil entity cannot enter through that doorway until you give it permission. Now, this story comes out of North Carolina. There was this woman who said when she was a young girl, she grew up in a small home up in the Appalachian Mountains. And she said when they first moved into this house, she remembers at night hearing what sounded like young children out in the woods laughing and saying things and calling her to come outside. And she would see shadows moving across her window like someone was walking around out there. She just ignored it, and she really had no idea what was going on. And she had heard stories, she had heard rumors from friends, that if anything evil comes to your door or invites you outside, do not listen to them, do not follow. Well, this one particular night, her parents left her in charge of watching her brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. And she said they were running around the house playing when all of a sudden she got kind of this sick feeling in her stomach, like something was wrong. And she said her brother started screaming and started freaking out and crying. And she's like, what's going on? Like, what's wrong? And he says, they're coming for us. Like, they're going to get us. They're coming. And she's like, what are you talking about? Who's coming? And he just kept saying, like, they're coming. And all of a sudden they hear boom, 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 like a knock at the front door. So she runs over to the window and she looks out, and she said at the front door was this young boy, with an old-timey haircut and wearing sort of like this blue jacket and blue pants with these like black boots. And she said he just looked out of place. She knew something was wrong. So she calls out to him from behind the door. Yes, like, what do you want? What do you need? And she said this boy responded, please let me in. Please let me in. And she's like, no, I'm not supposed to open the door. Mom and Dad are gone. Like, I can't open the door for you. And he's like, please, it's cold. Let me in. And she said, no, you're going to have to go somewhere else. I'm not opening the door. And right as she says that, the lights in the house started to flicker. And she said she took her brothers and sisters, they ran into their mother's room, and she closed the door, and they all just started praying. And finally their parents got home and they felt safe again. And she said within a couple weeks, it was all over this town that there was a young kid who disappeared. And she felt like that had something to do with whoever was knocking on the door then.
Part 3 of asking my high school juniors and seniors what affects them most and their opinions about it. Today's question is, what do you think is government danger? Number 1, Project Bluebeam, creating mass panic and theories of the unknown. St. Peter's Basilica's history of the Vatican City. It has a dark and sinister history behind the Roman Catholic Church. I don't know that one. Epstein cover-up. Most of all the people in government are part of it, and they are protecting themselves. FBI cover-ups that they aren't telling us about, like JFK, MLK, COVID, and 9/11. Police and FBI footage getting lost or deleted or removed, and people getting verdicts they don't deserve because of it. ICE brutality versus AI videos, leading people to believe false videos versus real ones.
It's the real one, y'all. Because it's always the ones that they get on camera. Like, they're running down on somebody, but they're not messing with the dude with the camera. It's weird. Like all those ICE videos, and people believe them. But you can tell, like, if this was the real deal and they were tackling that dude, they're going to tackle you too with the camera. Until we get everything figured out, you're going down too. You know what I mean?
NASA cover-ups and website shutdowns, and why did they stop exploring the ocean? Mandatory vaccines for control. This student believes that no one should have to get a vaccine if they don't want to get one. Population control, meaning that COVID was introduced to kill people off. That the purge is a real thing and they are just waiting for the sound to go off. Luigi Mangione was a government cover-up to get people distracted so that they would be distracted before their benefits changed. Jay-Z and Beyonce are too powerful and that they have ties to the Clintons. I don't know this one. Ryan Garcia is a boxer or fighter who has ties to Charles Manson's cult. So I'll have to look that one up. I don't know that one. And the kids all somehow believe that there's 7-degree separation with all of these back to Diddy. These kids are amazing.
So NASA backwards spells Asan. Asan means Lord Shiva. And there's a statue of Lord Shiva outside of CERN.
My autistic special interest is Mr. Beast's teeth. His teeth have changed many times. His teeth change in the one video. Okay. Enhance. A normal human smile, we have some unevenness, a normal tooth situation. This is the next bit in this episode. This is literally the next segment.
None can jump higher than him, and he's gonna be going against this.
Look at my boy's fucking chiclets. You see what I'm saying, bro? Who is this? Okay, now again, it's not that weird, but this is like the 4th time he's done. This is
You just
such a
start
good
live
shot.
streaming.
That is a full top teeth rework. Like that is a like literally completely. They're so obviously fake. Later in the video, they're back to normal again. Look at this in this scene.
When you
Need the Arizona trip.
A lot of people need to hear this because what's happening on the earth right now is not random. What we're seeing, the chaos, the storms, the breakdowns, the breakthroughs, all of this is a byproduct of this frequency shift that we are currently experiencing. I noticed that people aren't living in the same reality anymore. I don't know if you guys noticed, like when you go out, it's like I feel like I'm in a world of my own. And I truly believe this has to do with Mother Earth separating those who are chosen and those who have been a hindrance to this planet. But check this out. Listen to this, y'all.
When you curse the chosen, you're signing your own spiritual death notice. Let that marinate. Because when you curse the chosen, you're not just fighting them, you're fighting God's favor on their life. When someone is chosen, they walk with divine protection. Every attack, every lie, every attempt to destroy them becomes return to sender. You can't curse what God has already blessed. You can't block what's divinely assigned. And you certainly can't destroy destiny that has been written before time began. Are the chosen tested? You bet. They get betrayed, misunderstood, and even isolated. But every setback only elevates them higher because their pain is their training ground. When you curse the chosen, you do it at your own peril because you're revealing your festering envy and spiritual blindness, sowing seeds that will backfire on you. Because here's the divine law. You can't touch what God has anointed. When you understand that, you'll stop competing with them and start learning from them.
If you close your eyes and you think about it, it sounds like a Dragon Ball Z story about the Saiyans, right? Right?
Never seen
right? Everything is connected in that way, right? Because everything that they went through only made them stronger. And I already decoded that we're the original Saiyans. Like, where a lot of us are Goku. Remember when Goku came on the planet, he hit his head and he forgot his mission, and Vegeta had to come down and remind him of his mission? A lot of us have forgotten our mission. This is why we're in this situation in the first place. But now there's a great split taking place right now, y'all. I notice a lot of people are not living in the same frequency. They're not living in the same simulation. Like, are you guys noticing that when you guys go out? You're like, I'm in a world of my own, literally. But yeah, y'all, let me know think about this video. The shift is here. They feel it. They see it. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
I'm free as a bird. I don't have to clock in anywhere. I have no responsibilities. I don't care what day of the week or month it is. I don't know. I didn't even matter who's politicians. There's times I've been out there so free I didn't know what day it was. What I knew what year it was. That's about it. I didn't need to know anything. I was free. And they don't like it. I can get high anytime I want. I have to clock in, no responsibilities, and they're jealous because they got these heights highs, and they're like, we're not drug addicts as they drink their whiskey. We're not drug addicts as they take their pills that could kill them.
That's true.
And actually, a lot of rich people I ever met were the biggest drug addicts I ever met. Millionaires. They had pounds of cocaine and speed. But if you hear your most famous like football player or actor go to rehab, congratulations. But if a homeless, drugged out person goes to rehab, they're drug addicts. See what I'm talking about? Whatever. This is a weird world, the way we think about things, right? Everyone needs to take accountability for themselves. Don't blame anyone else, and you got to just, don't take other people's inventory. Do it yourself, and just do the right thing. It's not that hard, is it? That's all.
Well, thank you.
Right, Ken? Nice to meet you.
Thank you, brother.
Your voice
Yeah,
changed.
thank you very much.
Good morning and welcome. This is KGW streaming live from Portland, Oregon, and this is the Streets Life 101. And really seeing that cadavers change things. It's like one time I saw
Amazon. There's so much talent out there. So much talent out there that they just went down the wrong path. You know what I mean? Got with the wrong crowd. Like I had a great friend growing up and we were like good friends, right? But in school, he went with that crowd. I went with my crowd, right? I went my way, he went his way. When we were in the neighborhood, we were together. But he just couldn't get away from that crowd and he's no longer here no more. It's just a trip that, man, he just went that with the wrong people. Like that's how easy it can happen. Just hanging out with the wrong people and the wrong crowd. He was always at that table in high school. You know that table where the troublemakers and all them hang out at. He was always at that table, y'all. It's crazy.
And having problems, Amazon is simply removing problems. It's removing 30,000 problems because all the different robots that they're replacing these people with aren't going to complain. They're never going to want unions.
If what just happened in China goes worldwide, it would
Sylvia's
change
done
everything.
if this happens here.
China had just passed a new law making it compulsory for content creators and influencers to hold a professional qualification if they want to discuss that topic on their channel. So for example, if you're creating content around what they deem as a sensitive topic, we're talking finance, medicine, law, or education, you must prove that you are formally educated in that field. So like a degree or a diploma. And interestingly, it's actually up to the social media platforms to enforce this and ensure that their creators have provided the relevant qualifications. Otherwise, they will face fines. And not only that, but this new law will also require influencers to clearly state what studies and what sources they are using for their content, as well as to clearly indicate when AI is used. Now, the reason for all of this, according to the Cyberspace Administration of China, is to prevent misinformation from spreading on social media, and in turn protect the public from following detrimental advice. And while some people are applauding this as a needed move, others argue that this is just more concentrated control, there'll be less freedom of expression, and that it's an attack on independent voices and debate. Is this something that more countries should adopt or not?
We're like, don't follow them, follow us on TV. Follow us. We don't need a degree in this. We don't need a degree in politics. But you do. But we don't. Terrible, y'all.
Be real. Play with the spot. But yeah, watch this. Just bring it over to us here. Isn't that crazy?
No way!
They're developing an app that lets you purchase sunlight reflected from satellites in space directed to your exact location on Earth so that you can have personal access to the sun's light all night. And you're not going to believe how big these spots of sunshine will actually be. Their main goal and target market for this project would be for solar power farms to continue operating at night. Every day after the sun sets, countless hours are wasted as they sit in darkness and no longer produce energy. These guys wanted to change that. They plan on building a fleet of thousands of reflective satellites in space with giant mirrors that shine sunlight on billion-dollar solar farms at night. But it seems like they're also toying with the idea of opening it up for consumer use as well, allowing you or I to direct a beam of sunlight in the middle of the night to our exact location using an app on our phones, and may actually prove to be somewhat useful for things like hikers who get lost and don't make it back before sundown, or just camping in the woods, as long as it's not unreasonably expensive. But honestly, I feel like a service like this ain't gonna be cheap. The test videos they posted online are so far just simulated examples of how the concept would work using hot air balloons, and you can even reserve your own spot of sunshine through their application form, which says the spot—
Reality glitches caught on camera.
I told them. What the fuck? Yo, the sky is fucking blue. I'm over here. And then it turned off. Yo.
It's so pretty, it's really hard to hear. And then we got sand and
So clear.
My car is right fucking here, okay? Brady is right here. Down, okay? So this is up, this is up. So if I just kept going and took a little turn over there, you go up and it's there. So you would assume this means down, right? Okay? Don't move, Brady, don't move. So I'm going down. I'm going down.
Or are
you would
you
not
going
believe
up?
how many times I've gone up and down this fucking floor, okay?
Like a nightmare.
We're going down. I'm sprinting now. Okay, watch. Because look what happens. Look what happens. Where are the cars? Where's my fucking car? Where is he?
It's like a nightmare, y'all.
I'm delivering here. Into these caves.
Sync us out there delivering
Look what the
uniforms.
sign says. 5 million square feet available. Is I'm dreaming? 5 million square feet under here?
5
What's on the
million
other
square
side?
feet. Wow.
Hey, I'm in the cave, man. I'm actually delivering pizza crust. I'm actually delivering pizza crust. Weighs only 15,000 pounds. Light as hell. I'm about 40 miles from the house.
But it would be a good place to survive. Giant cave that's big enough to house hundreds of these trucks and trailers. There's a train track running through here. Just to give you an idea, back here, there's a regular sized truck. See how tall that is up there? It's just incredible. Anyway, having a great time, learning lots.
Another entrance. Be a railroad. All the flags, different countries in the world, here on Earth, right here.
We're not invited.
This place is huge.
When it hits the fan.
Branches off. Branches off. Everything's blocked off. When we first come in, it said maintenance and authorized personnel entrance only. And then you had the public entrance. Yeah, what's on the other side?
Nothing is a coincidence. Hold on to that thought. Did you know that Charlie Kirk's father, Robert W. Kirk, was actually the architect for Trump Towers? Also, did you know that Erica Lane Kirk won Miss Arizona USA in 2012? Don't forget, Donald Trump ran Miss America from 1996 until 2015. Seeing the correlation here? Now, not saying age difference is a big thing, but did you know Erica was 5 years Charlie Sr.? But this is where coincidences aren't coincidences. Watch this.
But just know that nothing is by mistake. Nothing. I will never forget the time I was in Israel with my husband. That was the second time, but the first time with my mother on a pilgrimage. And I was standing in the ticket line. And I remember looking behind me. And in the snake of the ticket line was a guy who looked very familiar. I had no idea who he was. And I told my mom, this guy looks so familiar. And as a typical mother, she said, go and say hi. No. We were late for our flight, and I'm not going to come off like a crazy person that's just weird. That ended up being Charlie. Nothing is by coincidence. Now, did we know that? No, not until we were like 3 months into our relationship and looking at timestamps, seeing that both of us were in Israel at the same time.
People, this was so arranged. And there's so much more to Erica Kirk. Kind of like how she was all into basketball, didn't want to be all girly, never liked to dress up, even cut all her hair off and ended up being Miss USA. How does that happen? How do you go from sports to Miss USA? And then they meet at a Turning Point event in 2018, where she's interviewing for a job for Turning Point. Solidified. I got a feeling there's more to the story here.
There is a man.
There could be some there. Well, I mean, maybe if they met before he was who he was, but that they met at an event, she knew who he was. The powers that be knew who he was, saw his following, knew he was an asset that they could use. You know, something fishy with that. Will it ever come out? Was it the right? I don't think, honestly, if it was inside like that, I don't think it was the left that did it. I think it was the right, y'all.
1972, the Rothschilds, one of the richest families in existence, held a private party called the Surrealist Ball, and the costumes and masks seem way too similar to what we saw in the movie Eyes Wide Shut. And I don't think this was a coincidence. You see, when Tim Cruise enters this party, he sees a lot of sick things that he shouldn't have seen, and a kind, masked woman spotted him and told him he needs to leave while he can. And eventually, he did get spotted. He was brought to the middle of the ritual, and before he was about to meet his detrimental end, the same woman yells from the second story and sacrifices herself to save him. The leader of the ritual then lets him go and tells him to never speak of what he saw. But once he leaves the party, he notices he is being followed everywhere he goes. He then discovers the woman that sacrificed herself for him, quote unquote, overdosed and passed away. Now put the pieces together of what I just told you and from the first video I made. Now, was this movie made just for entertainment, or was it a message/warning to us?
Right now, there are 131 active deep underground military bases in the United States. Each one has an average cost of $17 to $19 billion. My colleague, Al Bielek, has actually been on some of the high-speed railways, magneto-leviton trains that connect all the deep underground military bases within the United States. He's been on a Mach 2 train, close off of a single rail at a 3/4 of an inch off the rail, and what you'd call high tech. We have nothing like this on the surface. The public basically has been totally lied to. We're considered stupid or even moronic in some cases. They must tell us the truth. If they cannot do this, then they must be impeached.
Why did the Agarthians migrate out of these Antarctic nations? Was there any particular reason?
Yeah, there was. A few centuries ago, a faction inside Agarthia started questioning everything right. They believed we should explore lands beyond Agarthia. This group's ideology got very famous and controversial, right? They wanted to explore to see if there are more civilizations outside of this continent, right? To share knowledge with the surface. They called it the Great Outreach. But the High Council called it betrayal. They feared exposure would destroy the balance. So when that faction refused to yield, they were exiled out of Agarthia, so they were small in numbers, and decided they will explore on their own and started their expedition out of Antarctica. But here, the thing, our bodies were in perfect sync with the cold. The temperature kept our cells in near stasis, no oxidation, no breakdown. We have no concept of cell decay in our bodies, right? When they came to the surface, sunlight and warm temperatures disrupted that balance. Their cells started burning energy faster, and for some reason, cell decay started to happen, right? At first, it was subtle, skin dulling, breath shortening, but in our second generation, we started to age like surface dwellers.
It'll all be set out in law, what the limits are, how it's controlled, and that it'll be voted for in Parliament. And so it'll be in stone that this is the system and you can't simply change it.
July of 2001, 6 weeks before the 9/11 attack, Larry Silverstein signed a 99-year lease for the entire World Trade Center complex from Port Authority, New York to Jersey. The deal was a $3.2 billion deal. As part of the lease, Silverstein was required to insure the property, and he immediately began negotiating insurance coverage with multiple carriers. He obtained a $3.55 billion insurance coverage for the World Trade Center. And then, obviously important, the policy covered acts of terrorism. And the coverage was spread amongst about 24 insurers, including Travelers, Allianz, Swiss Re, and others. And we all know the money, He argued that the two plane impacted constituted two separate terrorist attacks, meaning he should collect double the policy amount. And he got $7 billion. That is some weird stuff.
No. I agree with you. And you know what's amazing about that? Because you know insurance. You do annuities, life insurance is different, but I get it. But hold on. And the companies you started. Terrorism is always excluded. It's the one item, acts of God and terrorism. They're never.
So think about it. Now you add it here?
No. And let me tell you, every insurance company that is in existence today looks back at that and makes sure that whoever put that into, what I want to know is this. So the way I would go about it, if you said to me, hey, I'm going to give you 6 months. I know that seems like a long time. Nowadays, we live in a 24 cycle and people want it tomorrow morning. But, it's slow to do this type of work. But if you said to me, give me 6 months, what I would do is I would go back to the insurance underwriter. And then I'd find out if in their policies that they were writing, in those 7 companies that were doing it, was it typical to have terrorism included in the policy? If it wasn't typical, if it was atypical, then I want to know the people the company that inserted that in. And then I want to know post the fall of WTC 7 where that person is. Did they leave the company and they're living on an island?
Here's the difference. It's 24 insurance companies that he was able to eventually negotiate. You know what the payout was? $4.55 billion is what he got.
More than the value of the building.
A little bit weird.
More than the value of the building.
That's just of course, more than the value of the building. So you hear a story like this and you're like, you know what? I don't know. And then, I've had so many different people. I had one of our guys, Brandon, who loves this lady. What's her name? Judy Wood. Am I saying it correctly? Yes, where she was maybe talking about it was magnetic, electromagnetic, what did she call it?
Dustification.
Dustification is the phrase she uses, right? And then we had another person that came in that broke down, and he was part of an organization, is it Gage?
Yes, sir.
Richard Gage, that he talked about the explosives and what they did. He was the original founder of the Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. Just way too many things to get the average person to, you don't even need to be an investigative journalist to say it's kind of weird.
Okay, so let me ask you something, though.
Yeah.
And it's just, and without having gone and spent the time on just that building, if you're the insurance companies going to do the payout, you come to a settlement, he wants double, you come to 4.5, 4.7, that's the deal. You're not just in the business of giving away money, right? You think you might have a team that's going to look into whether, in fact, there was something that brought it down other than just the debris from the WTC that weakened the structure? So you've got every incentive. You know how they find, if you have an exclusion, a life insurance policy that knocks you out, insurance companies spend a fair amount of time to try to find out whether that happened.
It's a whole department of people that do that. I've had multiple insurance policies that didn't pay out because they ended up finding out that the guy didn't pee, and it wasn't his pee, or he lied about certain drugs, or he lied about certain things. So yes, that does happen.
So I would love to know, another thing that I would be doing is I'd be looking at those departments and those insurance companies that would look for outs and find out what investigation did you do. I want to see the internal investigation. Show me what you did. Was it just BS? Was there a reason? The only reason that they would run it through without doing that type of investigation to find if there was an out is if somehow they were getting a big kickback. But there's too many of them. If it was one or two companies. So I'm always looking at follow the money, right? Okay. So let's say Silverstein wants the big payout. He's done whatever he has to do to bring the building down. Now, the insurance companies are going to give it to him and say, by the way, good going. Sorry, see you later. No, they're going to do some investigation. The only reason they're going to soft pedal that is if somehow there's some money under the table, I would think.
If you're getting paid $4.55 billion, there's a lot of things that could be under the table. Like, you could give away $50 million and you're still walking away with $4.55
right. And so often, but there's often a trail. So, right?
Has anyone ever investigated that deeply?
No.
So, I don't know if insurance will allow you to go that deeply because there's a certain level of privacy between the client and the insurance company.
30. Can you imagine if that was all for an insurance scheme? The pain that they put the country through for that dude, right? Everybody felt that was around, especially if you're older, like maybe 18 or older. Everybody that I remember where I was at, and I was, what, 11 years old. I was 11 years old when that happened. I remember where I was at when that happened. Right? I remember the news station we were watching, Channel 3, AZ Family. My mom was getting ready. I was in school. I was sitting on her bed watching that. I remember, y'all. That's how big of an impact that had on everybody's life. Everybody remembers where they were at, what they were doing when that happened. And imagine that was all for an insurance claim to get $4.5 billion, pay the insurance $500 million just to, you know, pocket some money. That is, if that's the case, man, everything is a damn lie. Everything. If that's the case for some money that they put the whole country through pain, went to war for 20 years, made another $4.5 billion off that, probably more, for the sake of a dollar. And we're over here fighting for politics, fighting for, my side versus your side. We're asleep, y'all.
People are losing their jobs at Amazon today
He's
because,
hitting
get
now,
this,
baby.
of robots, because of AI. Imagine waking up and hearing that a robot took your job. Not another human, but a robot. And we told y'all that these days were coming. I guess people just didn't think it would come this fast. So yes, Amazon is laying off 14,000 jobs, and they're replacing real people with robots, with AI who can do the job for cheaper and essentially better. And it's absolutely
24/7.
insane where the world is going. But the crazy thing is, y'all, it's not just coming for the factory workers. It's also coming for middle management as well, because now AI robots, yes, they could do all of the physical labor, but now they're able to do the office work. They're able to make the phone calls. I'm not gonna lie, AI is truly insane because of how quickly it multiplies in knowledge and being able to just do things. And so essentially it's becoming better than humans. But understand that this is a ploy to bring a new world order, to bring about the mark. It is a ploy. I mean, look at the majority of Walmart right now. Like, there's hardly ever any workers in there, and there never are any cashiers. It's all just robots. You do it yourself and the robot helps you out. And so businesses are seeing that humans are no longer beneficial to them, and now they're just letting them go. And this is another big reason why you do not overdo things at your job, because they will lay you off for literally, it's just one thing to get replaced by another person, but they will literally lay you off for a robot. They will replace you for a robot. Yeah. Think about that. Yo.
We're coming up on the worst season of the year. So Halloween is the devil's holy day. That's his day. People get angry with me. They say, Father, it's just kids putting on costumes, trick-or-treating. No, not really, because you're really participating in his day. And why would you want to participate in anything that's giving glory to the devil? I had a couple of families in the last parish leave the school, withdrew from the school because we didn't have Halloween in the school. And I'm like, this is your hill you're going to die on, is Halloween? Like, you're not going to do well in what's coming in the future if this is your big thing. Mm-hmm. They left. In New York City, where I'm from, there was an exorcist there when I was on Wall Street. After my conversion, I met with him. His name was Father James Labar, God rest his soul, pioneer exorcist of our day. And he told me that Halloween's the most dangerous season of the year for the homeless. I'm like, well, why is that? Are they eating bad candy? What's going on here? He's like, no. They have these vans that come around and they tell the homeless they're going to take them to a shelter. They've got whole big meals set up for them and showers, and they can wash their clothes and all this. And a lot of them get in the vans and go. And then they tie them up and they hold them for the 31st. And then they sacrifice them on the evening of Halloween to the devil. And it's like a perfect crime because nobody's looking for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's a big deal. It's a real thing. There is a video on YouTube, which I'm shocked it hasn't been pulled down, because it's a guy about 20 years old who was raised in an occult family and he was groomed to become the chief witch that was going to execute a girl on Halloween and offer her to the devil. And he went through with it, and he talks about it face to face with the interviewer, who's from some Christian network. And he says, it's all part of the ceremony. This is to get more power. We have to offer them a human life. And so it's usually a young woman.
What kind of power do they get?
More demonic power, so they can have more influence, so they can have more wealth, they can have more success. But it's only fleeting. It's not forever. And then, of course, at the end of life, there's a big problem. Getting out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Where's that coming from? Maybe it's woodpeckers. It's either that or the demons. They love to interrupt. And you know what demons really hate is that when you laugh at them and you don't take them seriously and you just say, oh, it's just you. It's just you, goofy, trying to interrupt the telling of one of the greatest stories and parables ever told.
All the way.
Well, maybe I'll chase off the demons. I'll be right back. Hey, you guys. Hey, be gone! Be gone! And don't disturb us anymore. All right, the peace of the Lord.
They gave some of these kids one egg a day, one extra egg a day. Right. And they followed these guys for over a year. And they found that the ones who got the egg increased their IQ by 15 points on average.
What?
Just one egg a day. That's how vital and important animal nutrition is. At least one egg a day. This is really important to your kids' development.
Like the absolutely most mind-bending thing that they've created.
I think the biohybrids, because when I say that thing they have done, right? So for anyone who isn't familiar with DARPA, right? It's the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, a mouthful.
They added the D
they
later,
added the
right?
D for defense, but it is the most powerful, most secretive, most productive military agency in the world. And I kind of believe that before I wrote the book, most people had not heard of DARPA. I mean, I think, or at least when I was doing press for it was like shocking.
I think you're right about that.
So that's fascinating. And part of that has to do with DARPA likes the public perception of, that they like do all these things for the good of humanity. And actually, we know from the declassified documents again, or actually this was not declassified. This was the statement by the first SecDef at the time, the SecDef at the time that the DARPA was created, Neil McElroy, an advertising executive who became a Secretary of Defense. He said he went to Congress to get the funding, and he said this agency is going to create the vast weapon systems of the future. That is what DARPA does. They are always 20 years ahead of anything that you or I know. So any technology that is like, what the hell was that I just saw and you're not supposed to have seen? That's DARPA. Right?
They were doing Neuralink in the 90s, right?
They are always doing things 20 years before you know about them, because they do what is called blue sky technology.
Blue sky
right?
research and technology, yes.
And they have to be ahead of the curve. They have to be, right?
Is DARPA the only, when it comes to this kind of stuff, like innovating weapons for defense and national security, that's probably the only thing, the only apparatus that exists that's doing unlimited blue sky sort of research and development, right? Because they have unlimited money.
That we know of, but nothing surprises me anymore. And so when you find out there's like some agency you've never heard of, it's like, oh, of course, right? Like look at NRO, the National Reconnaissance Organization, right? National Reconnaissance Office, okay? NRO was created in 1961. No one knew it existed until 1993 when it was declassified. So they were involved in the first technology, the first satellites technology. So when I interviewed Dr. Bud Wheelon, who was the first director of science and technology at CIA. He identified himself as the mayor of Area 51 because he worked out there. And he built the first satellite called Corona. This is like back in the old days when it literally took wet film images, dropped the wet film, and the Lockheed pilots would...
Look at all these robots at my job. So many of them. All these robots in here. I'm sick of it too because it makes our job way harder. Look at all these.
Your job ain't gonna be around much longer.
What did Bones say about religion when you asked?
Well, I got the impression that we were. He mentioned that we are part of the same creation. In other words, we're part of the same fabric of existence.
As the aliens?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all part of it. He didn't necessarily say they have a soul, but he said that he implied we have a soul. He said that there were two creations, intelligent and non-intelligent, and like plants were part of the non-intelligent, and we and them were part of the intelligent creation. And if you have intelligence, then you have what I interpreted when I heard it was a soul. Now, he might have meant something else, but this internal agency or internal knowing, that I think that's probably a better way of knowing it. And I think I ascribe, because at the time I was religious, I had a religious belief, so to speak. So I think I pushed soul into that round hole.
Yeah.
Now that I look back on it, it didn't necessarily mean soul, but it meant sort of a self-agency, a self-awareness.
Did you ever ask any questions about yourself? Like, how was I genetically manipulated, or why, or...
No.
Okay.
If I did, I don't remember it because I didn't get an answer, I don't think, because I don't remember anything like that.
Did you ever ask them how long they've been visiting humanity?
Yes. I tried to address that several times. My impression was that they've been here for a very long time, and that they've intersected with humanity at different times. And he did mention also that it became much more difficult once our civilization had advanced, because it was the levels of communication between civilizations and stuff. It was harder to keep their autonomy or their distance, so to speak, from when they wanted the distance. It was harder to do that when other societies were talking about each other. This was my impression. They didn't exactly say it that way, but that's what I got the impression of.
Did they talk about any sort of interbreeding between humans and aliens?
I got the impression that they had interbred before, experimentally. I'm not, that doesn't necessarily mean that it was still, or that we still have the results of that, so to speak, on Earth. But he did mention that they had experimented with that in the past.
Did you ask, are you the only alien race? Are there others?
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yes. He said there were a lot. Like, I got the impression that it was a silly question. Like, of course there's more speed, this entire universe, and you think we're the only two?
This gas station is proof the elite have fake towns and cities set up.
There's cars here, and they're all literally dusty.
This screams fake
and
town.
It's dark inside this gas station.
Where are the
and
people?
There's nobody in their fucking car.
There's the cars. Where are the people?
That one's nice. It's just sitting there. Why are the cars dusty as fuck?
It makes no sense.
The lights off.
That place clearly isn't open, but there's
nobody in there.
There's cars just sitting at the gas station.
Hay for sale. The fuck?
What is that? A donkey?
What?
Right there.
Oh.
Fucking donkey.
Someone please explain this to me.
What
This might actually be a fake town.
I mean, you go to the gas station at night, you see the other side. There's some crazy things at gas stations at night, especially if you go late. Like back in my drinking days, go to Walmart, a 24/7 Walmart. Go like at 12 or 1 o'clock. You're gonna see some crazy things in there.
Slash city set up by the elite. Why would there be cars parked at the gas pump and they have dust on them? So they've been there a while and nobody's around. As always, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Stay weird.
How old are you today?
102.
102. So you were born in
1918.
1918. And we were just talking and I asked you what shape the earth is. And what did you say? What were you taught in school in elementary
school? I was
school?
taught in school that the earth was flat.
Where did you go to school? Elementary school?
I went to Spur Glen School in Hamden, Connecticut.
Okay. So she says that she was taught the earth was flat. Now, here's the thing about this. The first picture that we've gotten of Earth was in 1946.
Talk about it.
Okay. Now, if you look at the Universal logo, Universal Studios, Universal Music.
Absolutely.
Their logo is what? A globe.
Right.
Now, that logo came out in 1913. How is it that they knew exactly what the Earth looked like years before we actually seen the Earth? Does that make sense?
Come on.
Just saying. And 33 years later, there's that number again. From the time that logo came out, from the time we actually got a picture from NASA, not a space agency.
Oh, and for the goofballs that want to say, oh, he has a NASA shirt on.
I wear it to troll.
That's by design, you fucking goof.
Yeah, it's not a space agency. So they lie to us all the time. So maybe the Earth is actually flat.
I mean, the lady, you think the lady's lying? Like, what does she have to get from, like, does she look like she just wants to go home and sleep?
Yeah, she's too old to be lying.
She's too old to lie.
Yeah.
So what is the Earth? Flat or round?
I don't know. She says it's flat.
Might be both.
Might be both.
You really think a human being shot Charlie Kirk? Let me explain.
Okay.
There's a muzzle flash behind him. Okay? And that wound is an exit wound, not an entry wound. He got shot from behind.
Okay.
He got shot by a drone, not a human being. You're gonna leave this whole thing, even if you got Core Horse to do it, and whoever's behind, the killer, 22-year-old kid, to leave it all to you, who's not a killer, never killed anybody before, to take him out? No. Lone gunman? Absolutely not. So why wouldn't you use a drone, right? So there's a muzzle flash behind him in a vent where no human being can be placed there. So wouldn't you just put a patsy up there and the shot goes off? There he is.
Right.
Meanwhile, you got hit from the back. Nobody's even looking for a drone. No, you're not even thinking about that. And the Chinese have mosquito-sized drones for reconnaissance. We're seeing all types of, like, Lockheed Martin, they have drones now to where you can't even detect them. So all these things are coming out. If you look into what type of drones are used for military, assassinations or operations,
stuff,
you don't think they have this type of technology they can just use on him? One perfect shot? You only need one shot. You're telling me a kid with a lazy eye changes clothes, goes to the roof, takes the shot, perfect shot, changes his clothes again, disassembles the rifle, and then throws it in a bush?
Yeah.
And, well, mind you, puts the rifle back together again, then throws it in the bush. And do all that in record time.
I mean, we just saw that clip of DARPA. They're 20 years ahead of what we can even think. Like, they're thinking what we already got, the Chinese, a mosquito drone or whatever. Like, that lady just said they're 20 years ahead of what we can even think. Maybe that's what they use. Maybe a damn invisible drone and it was right here and we didn't even see it or hear it. Right? For 20 years, we can't even think about it. What the heck do they got that we can't even think in our mind? Maybe that's what they used.
Let me explain the eyes wide shut conspiracy theory. So it's well known that the cut presented a few days before Kubrick's death was too jarring for executives that they cut 25 minutes out without Kubrick there to oppose the decision. This left many storylines seemingly unresolved, so we're not really sure if the story is actually what was intended. The crazy thing is that they asked Kubrick to cut the scenes before he died, and he said no. So the conspiracy is that he made a movie about this sensitive subject of exposing the elites, refused to cut the touchy scenes when asked, died a few days later only to have the studio cut the scenes anyways. It's a conspiracy, but it really makes you think.
Did you guys hear about what's happening in Sedona, Arizona? Well, the times that we are in right now, apparently people got woken up early in the morning by this loud, deafening roar. It sounded like the ground was literally collapsing. No earthquake, there was no thunder. People were calling the cops, and even the cops don't know what's going on. But look at this, y'all. Check this out. Listen to this. Y'all see those mountains?
We all just got woken up to some disturbing sound all through the area. It's called 911, and they said they've gotten like over 50 calls about it.
Y'all do know Sedona is the strongest energy vortex throughout the whole planet, right? It sounds like something is birthing or coming up from underneath that. So we have all of this currently happening where the planet's strongest energy vortex is. We are about to enter on our planet when the veil is the thinnest, right? And the sun is popping off these CMEs like it's a solar return. What is that? What do y'all think that is, y'all? Let me know down in the comments below.
Redstone. These are some old Aztec sandstones, located 1 hour outside of Las Vegas. What are the ancestors saying? Or maybe what's built underneath these old dunes?
The cop walks up and he gets to the door and he opens it up and he just cannot believe what he sees inside the house. There were pennies glued to the ceiling and the furniture has clearly been maneuvered and arranged in sort of bizarre ways. All the guy's thinking is, we've been watching this house. Clearly, somehow, someone's getting in and out of this house or they're still here. And so instead of searching the house, he pulls out, calls in backup, and they do yet another complete search of this house. They're going to tear this place apart and they search the whole house top to bottom and they cannot find anyone. At the end of it, there were a couple of officers that were down in the basement. One of them was leaning on the washing machine, and he's like, I just don't understand how we could have missed this. And as he's talking, the washing machine suddenly moves from his weight being on it, and behind where the washing machine had been is a little cutout on the wall. And they poke their head in, and they see with their flashlight, there's like a tunnel that's been burrowed into the wall in the basement. And crouched down in the corner, looking back at them, is this dude wearing a dress.
How is it this 1965 refrigerator has more features than a modern fridge? Check this out.
Start with the most ingenious door in any refrigerator. It has special places for bottles, spreadable butter, cheeses, even leftovers, and a big picture window hydrator for fruits and vegetables. It tilts down to show you your supply at a glance. And it also lifts out, so you can take it over to the sink when there's a fresh supply to be washed and put away. But that's just the door. Think of all you can store in here on these big firm shelves that roll all the way up to you, so you can get at the food and back without moving anything in front. And how about your frozen things? Oh yes, there's a place for them too, in this big, big food freezer. Even your ice cubes have a special place for storage, right here. And watch how they get there. You just take out a tray, turn it over, and push. You get a shower of ice cubes, all frosty dry and ready to use.
Just the fact that the ice trays self-eject and that you can remove the veggies onto the bench and pull out the trays and see all the food inside the fridge is brilliant. Why do we not have these features today?
All right, fam. There you have today's video. It's Halloween. Hope you guys have a safe evening. Tomorrow, the holidays start, right? Already. 2025, man. So fast. So fast this year has gone, and it's just going to go quicker. The rest of the year is just going to fly now after today, y'all. But I hope you guys have a good night. We're not doing much. You know, baby's too small. He's too young. We're going to carve a pumpkin. We're going to, shut the blinds, turn off the lights today. No candy. It is 7 o'clock in the morning. Mama Bear and the baby are still asleep. We haven't been out for a while, so she loves breakfast. My lady loves breakfast. She grew up eating breakfast. I'm not really a breakfast person, but I think I'm gonna surprise her and tell her when she wakes up, let's go have some black bear. She loves black bear, so I'll go get me some eggs, bacon, sausage. Today will be day 3 of carnivore. I'm feeling good, y'all. I'm feeling good. Yesterday I had some cravings in bed, right? But you know what? I got through it and the cravings went away within like 15, 20 minutes. They're gone. Usually I give in to those cravings like that. I'm like, but I told Mama Bear, I'm like, I'm craving some chips. She talked me off the ledge. You know what? I just kept watching YouTube and guess what? The cravings were gone. So I learned, hopefully next time that happens, I just sit and be still. I always hear people say, go on a walk, do something, read a book, do something, go pick up the poop outside, the dog's poop, go pull a couple weeds, and that craving will be gone. So that's what I need to do when these cravings come. Like I saw a video on here. We'll get a little rant real quick. I saw a video. I don't think I put it on my channel, right? Because he was talking explicit, but he was saying when you do something negative that you're not supposed to do, you go to an altar. You go somewhere where you do it all the time, right? Well, you need to make positive altars. When you have those negative thoughts, when you have those negative, habits you want to do, go start changing that negative altar, turn it positive, right? Go for a walk. Go outside and pick some weeds. Go outside and pick up like the dog poop. I always pick up the dog poop every day. So go do something like that. Start making positive altars and guess what? You'll start going to those positive altars when those negative things start coming up. So that's my little game to you guys for today's video. Y'all hope everyone has a good night. Let me know down below what y'all are up to tonight. You guys giving out candy? You guys following what these people on here are saying to do, which they're probably not doing? You know what I mean? Let me know down below, y'all. This is Segovia. I'm signing out of the man cave. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay safe, y'all. Later.